Carlos Gonzalez saw ICE agents just steps away from his warehouse, and he made the swift decision to shut down operations and send his workers home. Since then, many of his employees have been too afraid to return. Carlos, appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you for having us, for having me.
With these ICE raids ongoing across Los Angeles, can you paint a picture of what's happening on the ground right now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a sense of fear. It's a sense of persecution. It's a sense that, even just by being of Latin descent, you have a target in your back and you're being, chased down the streets. Here in the Fashion District, for example, it was very stressful for me to hear early in the morning messages, from nearby vendors, from nearby team members and delivery personnel notifying me that there was ICE stations and there were ICE agents doing raids in some of the warehouses. And so I immediately had to rush to the warehouse to make sure that I protect, our team members. Although they do have protection, they are legalized, but at the end of the day, they might be, my fear of them being persecuted was extremely high. So, and majority of our team members are actually women. So we're comprised of about 98% women operated. And so, I for sure did not want to put my ladies, in harm's way of being detained, and processed.
So, Carlos, that is really something. So your workers are documented. Then you saw these ICE agents outside, and
Right.
you sent them home. And so, just being Latino, you're fearful that people are going to get caught up with these agents,
Correct.
detained and questioned. And what's it been like for your employees?
It's been nerve-wracking. As Friday when the raid started. Since then, it escalated over the weekend in nearby cities as well. Come Monday, none of our team members wanted to come into work. It was a situation where we had to kind of convince at least two of our team members to come in to do, the more urgent work. I mean, mind you, we do have a large portion of Canadian customers, and so we were getting calls from all over the nation. Hey, Carlos, what's going on? Is everything fine? A lot of them were, obviously concerned about our safety. We had others that were also concerned as like, are you guys going to shut down like for a week, for 2 weeks? What's going on? They were worried, obviously, for their business sense because they're depending as to product being moved to them. We are one of the main companies that distributes to boutiques nationwide, and like I mentioned to Canada from all angles of Canada. So it was a very nerve-wracking situation, and being short-staffed over something that we cannot control, it just adds a sense of anxiety even to ourselves because it's like people are being picked up off the streets. We had over the weekend and yesterday as well. The ICE agents were going into Home Depots, which is like stores. People are just walking by. People are going and seeking jobs. Even contractors that were going into the area, and just by being Latino, they're being chased down, and they're being detained. Some of them are actually citizens, and they still go through the whole process. Some of them being released, within a few days. Others taking up to weeks, just because it's considered that they're lying. A lot of these people that are being detained actually have real IDs, which is something that was recently implemented, and you have to go through a rigorous process in order for you to even have a real ID. And people with real IDs are being detained, and they're being questioned, and they're being told that they're lying. And until it gets ultra verified, once in custody, once detained, then after that, it's like, okay, you could go home. But, the stress and the fear that both the families, the parents are going through, it's something that, it's very nerve-wracking.
And your dad, I understand you have 2 young daughters. What kind of conversations are you having with them about what's going on?
Excuse me. It's something, it's very nerve-wracking. It's a conversation like I grew up an immigrant. My parents brought me here when I was a baby. And so I was always told to be careful, to not attract attention, to make sure you do things correctly. And that's kind of the same thing that I've always told my daughters. I'm a girl dad, so it's I guess it's a blessing in itself, but it's also the protective sense of being a girl dad comes out a lot more. And even right now with the community as well, it's like I want to speak out, and I'm very thankful for you guys for giving me this opportunity. But the conversations with them, it's like, just be vigilant. If you see anything weird, contact us. Protect your classmates. Have conversations with them. Even to the point where it's like you have to make sure that you don't overspeak. And mind you, they're full blown citizens. And it's a conversation where I shouldn't even have to have with them, but just because they're Latinas, it gives a sense that they might have a target, on their back, and it's nerve wracking to have to deal with. Um, and so yeah, that's some of the
Yeah.
conversations that I have with them to make sure that they're vigilant.
And I think you told one of our producers that even like high school graduations or graduation ceremonies, that people are fearful to go into something like that that's just supposed to be a milestone celebration.
Correct. On Saturday, actually, there was a couple of schools where ICE tried to go into the high schools, and tried to detain both parents and students that were celebrating something meaningful. It's a culmination of a huge accomplishment, and here are ICE agents on the outside of the schools. Luckily, majority of the schools were able to protect their kids and the parents, and they did not allow the agents inside. But as you can imagine, just being stuck inside a school, not knowing if this is the last time that you're going to see your son or daughter that's graduating, and then you're going to be detained a few minutes later. It happened also, I believe, in if I'm not mistaken, in Texas. A gentleman had just graduated, and he was being detained. And he was pleading with the ICE agents to please at least allow him to finish the ceremony, and then from there, they could take him off. So that kind of environment is definitely, it's something that I never wish on anybody, and it hurts because it's our community. We love this country. We want to make sure that we're very thankful and grateful. But having been chased the way that we're currently being chased, and achieving certain things, and it being completely ignored, all because of the current status that you might have, and then being handcuffed with all the chains that they're putting on everybody, it's just a nerve-wracking situation.
Carlos, it really sounds like it is, and appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and tell us about it. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you so much for having me again.
That was LA business owner Carlos Gonzalez.